The dragons in the sky. Ethan Hale had always been a quiet man. A xenobiologist by training, a wilderness ranger by choice, he had spent the last 10 years stationed in the Borealis Range, a remote region of towering cliffs, violet moss forests, and tectonic vents that glowed faintly blue at night. It was a peaceful place, except for the storms. Lighting that spiraled upward instead of down, winds that hummed like flutes, and the strange shapes Ethan sometimes saw moving between the clouds. But even after everything he had witnessed, nothing prepared him for the night the sky tore open. Ethan was repairing a remote scanner node near the ridge when it began, a deep, resonant vibration in his chest, like someone plucking the strings of the world. The wind stopped. The air thickened. Then a roar, no, a chorus of roars, echoed from the clouds. Ethan looked up and froze. A dozen colossal silhouettes emerged from the storm. Wings unfurled wider than transport shuttles. Tails coiled like serpents. Bodies shimmering with scales that reflected the lightning in iridescent blue, gold, and obsidian. Dragons. Real dragons. Not the reptilian sky beasts often reported. Not gliders or megafauna. Intelligent beings. One broke formation and descended toward him, landing with enough force to crack stone. She was enormous, her head alone longer than Ethan's whole body. Her scales were white gold, glowing faintly with an internal light. Her eyes were pale, ancient, sorrowful. Ethan dropped the scanner and backed away slowly. Human, the dragon spoke, not with a voice, but with a telepathic resonance that vibrated through his bones. We require your help. Ethan's heartbeat thundered. Am I help? With what? Another dragon landed beside the first, this one smaller, scales black with silver streaks, breathing heavily as if injured. The white gold dragon lowered her head. We are the Etherian brood, the last free herd of our kind. Our young are dying. Ethan blinked, stunned. You want me? A human xenobiologist? Why not your own healers? They have all been taken, she replied. And the Dominion ships hunt us even now. Before he could process that, the injured dragon collapsed. The ground shook. The entire herd roared in grief. The white gold dragon, clearly their leader, leaned closer to Ethan, her breath warm with energy, not heat. Please, she whispered inside his mind. You are our last hope. Ethan swallowed hard. Whatever this was, whatever danger it meant, he couldn't walk away. Take me to them, he said. The relief that swept the dragons crackled through the air like lightning. And before he knew it, the largest dragon lowered her wing, allowing Ethan to climb onto her harness. As she launched into the sky, the world fell away beneath them, and Ethan Hale began the most impossible journey of his life. Middle, the dying hatchlings. Their destination was a hidden valley, guarded by cliffs that glimmered with strange energy shields. As the dragons descended, Ethan saw movement below. Dozens of hatchlings. Small, fragile versions of the giants he had just met, some no bigger than horses, others as long as trucks. But all of them were weak. Their scales dim. Their breaths ragged. Their wings too frail to lift. Ethan's heart clenched. The white gold dragon, whom the others called Aurelia, stood beside him. They were poisoned, she said. A toxin engineered by the Dominion. It attacks our inner fire, the ether stream that gives us life. Ethan knelt beside a particularly weak hatchling, whose scales flickered like a fading flame. Dominion bioweapons. Ether stream poisoning. This was advanced genetic warfare. Far beyond human earth science, but not beyond the xenobiology that Ethan had spent his life studying across the frontier worlds. Let me scan him, Ethan said, pulling a handheld analyzer from his bag. The dragons watched in eerie silence as Ethan ran diagnostics. The results made his stomach drop. "This toxin attaches to your ether channeling organs," he explained. "It disrupts the energy flux that your bodies depend on. They're starving from the inside out." Aurelia's voice trembled. "Can you fix it?" Ethan stood slowly. "I can try." The dragons leaned in, hope shining across a dozen colossal faces. Ethan began working immediately. For hours, he took samples, ran tests, compared biological signatures. Aurelia stayed near him the entire time, calm, regal, but clearly holding herself together through sheer will. Finally, Ethan found something. A molecular shield around the toxin's structure, one he recognized. "This is Dominion nanocyte work. But the signature, this is old. Very old." Aurelia lowered her head. "The Dominion has hunted us for millennia. They wish to break the last of our kind." Ethan grabbed his datapad. "If I can modify the nanocytes, if I can rewrite their subroutines, I might be able to force them to repair instead of destroy." Aurelia's chest glowed with sudden hope. "Tell us what you need." "I'll need a lab." "You will have one." Aurelia turned to the herd and released a commanding roar. The cliffs opened like doors, revealing an ancient cavern, filled with glowing crystals, energy conduits, and alien machines that pulsed with life. The dragons had technology? Real, advanced technology? Aurelia noticed his shock. "We are not beasts, human. Our kind once ruled the skies of 1,000 worlds." Her eyes dimmed. "Before the Dominion stole our stars." Inside the cavern, Ethan assembled a makeshift lab using pieces from the dragon's tech and his own equipment. Aurelia assisted him, her massive claws surprisingly precise as she held tools steady. During the long hours, a quiet bond formed between them. Aurelia asked him about humans, their families, their dreams, their weaknesses. Ethan asked her about dragons, their culture, their extinction, their pride. Each answer carried pain and strength. By dawn, he had something, an unstable prototype serum capable of rewriting the Dominion nanocytes. "It's untested," Ethan warned. "This could either save them or do nothing." Aurelia stepped forward. "Then test it on me." The cavern fell silent. Every dragon froze. Ethan stared at her. "Aurelia, no. You're the healthiest. If something goes wrong, I am their leader, their mother, their shield." Her voice hardened with resolve. "If there is risk, it belongs to me." Ethan hesitated. Her glowing eyes locked onto his. "You promised to help," she whispered. Ethan's throat tightened. "All right, but I'll administer only a microdose." He lifted the injector and pressed it gently beneath her glowing scales. Aurelia closed her eyes. The serum entered her bloodstream. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, her body ignited with radiant light. Wings flared open. The cavern shook. Ethan stumbled back as the dragons roared in alarm. Aurelia's voice tore through the chamber. "It burns." The ground trembled. Crystals shattered. The air rippled with raw ether. Ethan's heart dropped. He had killed her. But then, the light stabilized. Her massive body relaxed. She opened her eyes. And the glow within them was stronger than before. Sharper. Alive. Aurelia inhaled deeply. The fire returns. Ethan collapsed in relief. She lived. The treatment worked. And for the first time in centuries, the dragons had hope. Climax. The Dominion arrives. They didn't have long. As Ethan administered doses to the first hatchlings, an alarm shook the valley. The sky darkened. Dominion warships ripped through the clouds, sleek black vessels bearing the insignia of the Conqueror King. Hundreds of assault drones descended like a metallic storm. The dragons roared in unison, forming a defensive wall around the hatchlings. Aurelia stepped to Ethan's side. "Human," she said. "Stay behind me." Ethan grabbed his datapad. "I can boost the serum flow, but someone has to hold the Dominion off long enough for the treatment to stabilize." "Leave that to us." Aerial combat erupted above them, dragons weaving between plasma fire, wings slicing through drones. The sky became a battlefield of flame and metal. But even as Aurelia fought, she kept glancing toward Ethan and the young. Toward the future she refused to lose. A Dominion dreadnought charged its primary cannon, aimed directly at the valley floor. Ethan screamed, "Aurelia, move!" But she didn't move away. She moved toward it. Her body flared with brilliant white gold fire, the fully restored ether stream coursing through her. She unleashed a beam of pure radiant energy. It struck the dreadnought head-on and split the massive warship in two. The herd roared triumphantly. Dominion drones scattered. Dragons fought like legends reborn. When the last enemy vessel fell burning into the forest, silence finally settled over the valley. The hatchlings were stabilizing. Aurelia stood tall, scales burning like small suns. Ethan dropped to his knees in exhausted relief. Aurelia lowered her massive head until her snout gently brushed his chest. "You saved us," she whispered. "You saved my children." Ethan smiled tiredly. "You did the hard part." Her eyes softened. "No human has ever aided us without greed, without fear, without seeking power." She paused. "But you saw us as living beings worthy of life." She inhaled deeply, almost nervously. "You have changed the fate of our species." Ending, a new sky. The next day, as the hatchlings began to fly for the first time, tiny sparks glowing under their wings, Aurelia approached Ethan. "You cannot stay here," she said gently. "The Dominion will come again. They will seek you." Ethan nodded. "I figured as much." "But you also cannot return alone," she added. Then she extended her wing, lowering it like a platform. "You will come with us, to the Etherian homeworld, under my protection, and under our gratitude." Ethan blinked. "You want me to go, with the dragons?" Aurelia's telepathic voice softened to a warmth that almost felt like a smile. "You are part of our brood now, Ethan Hale." Kira would have loved this, he thought sadly. She had passed years ago. But perhaps this was a new beginning he didn't know he needed. Ethan climbed onto Aurelia's back. The entire herd took to the sky, dozens of dragons soaring in formation, wings glowing like celestial banners. As they rose into the clouds, Ethan looked back at the valley that had forever changed his life. Aurelia's voice filled his mind. "Human, you have rewritten the destiny of dragons." "And you," Ethan whispered, "have rewritten mine." Together, they ascended into the stars. A man, a herd of dragons, and a future no one in the galaxy could have ever imagined. This was only the beginning.